But Johnny Utah, over and over again, he decides not to escalate to lethal force because there's just something about Bodhi that it's too powerful for him, and he can't beat Bodhi. And so in the end, Bodhi gets away, and it's in this really cool skydiving scene. There's like 2 skydiving scenes in this film, which are just amazing, and it's good for the bonding. Like they go skydiving to bond with Johnny Utah, and that I think seals Johnny's departure from the FBI. For the joy and the thrill, and it's statism. It's leaving statism. The joy and the thrill of being plugged into natural elements, and really, I think it's rationality. Like I think rationality, these things are kind of like it's the same. Rationality is kind of like a primal moving force in the world. When he bonds with Bodhi there in the skydiving scene, he can't go after Bodhi the same when he tries, because it's like a sense of duty and obligation, but he staggers on. And eventually gets to the point where at the end of the film, he tracks down Bodhi because Bodhi escaped. And he's like, you got to come in, man, you got to come in. And this is just so bad because it's such an escalation, because it's globalism. It's global police force. Like he's going to Australia as an FBI guy, LAPD division, or whatever it is, LA division, and he's teaming up with the Australian police. The Australian police are like lunatics. I mean, those guys are all Luciferians. And so he's like teamed up with, and they'll beat you. They'll beat you silly. They'll shut off their cam. Like Australian police are crazy, man. They'll shut off their cams and they'll beat you with their batons. And then they'll celebrate in a blood ritual later. But Johnny Utah confronts Bodhi on the beach, and he's like, you got to come in, man. He's like, no, man, I'm not going in. I'm not going in. And then him and Johnny Utah like tussle. And then Johnny Utah puts the cuffs on Bodhi. And Bodhi lets out this primal yell like, no, no, no. He's like a caged animal because he's been cuffed. He's been handcuffed to Johnny Utah, and he can't handle this. And so he pleads, as the cops are coming down the hill, he pleads with Johnny Utah. Let me keep an eye on the time. He pleads with Johnny Utah, like, let me go, man, let me go. And he just goes and he surfs. Johnny Utah uncuffs him. The crazy Aussie Luciferian police are mad at Johnny Utah. And Bodhi just goes and he surfs. And he disappears into a giant wave. And it communicates something so deep. And Johnny Utah throws his FBI badge into the surf and he walks away, which is exactly right. It's very healthy what he did.